and you know, and I maybe I had time. So okay, so chapters 9 and 10 feature my wonderful wife Leslie. My mother-in-law Winnie. Where are you, Winnie? Okay. I want to thank you for making that young woman. Your other kids, I could take them or leave them, but that one, you made a really good one, okay? You and Alan, so thank you very much. So chapters 9 and 10, Leslie talks about her reality-based practical lessons about overcoming decision paralysis, which really plagues many of us, and self-consciousness, right? And I think they're two pretty funny chapters, and she edited them to make herself look better than they did on the first time, so that's good. So, okay. Chapter 7, Friends for the Journey, including pallbearer buddies. Isn't that a great title for John? Is that a great title for a chapter? Friends for the Journey, including pallbearer buddies. Anyway, it features members of my longtime poker group, including, can you please stand, Jamie Brazil and Dave Witt. Guys? Or, yeah, okay, like, yeah. There are 8 of us. These are the only 2 who cared enough to come this evening, but it speaks to the importance of diversity of beliefs and lifestyles in your circle of close friends, right? So, I mean, in a nutshell, like I'm a Chinese Democratic doctor, like, you know, liberal causes. They're all white Republican businessmen, okay? Like, we just kind of met because our wives, they met through the first kid playgroup, something like that, okay? And you think, oh, why would you hang out with them and stuff? Anyway, but it turns out. So, it turns out that the secret, anyway, the chapter's really funny, so you should, I think it's a very good chapter. But the secret to an inclusive and collaborative society, which I think we all want, it's one that adapts to problems by building bridges rather than blaming and dividing. And I think that things like being in a poker group with really diverse people, that's a bridge to a collaborative society. And so I love you guys. Thank you so much. All the years, all the burps and farts. I mean, Brad Crutchfield, who can't be here this evening because he's probably making money somewhere, lots of money. But anyway, his wife said, "Oh my God," he said, "you know, that you guys shared farts and burps and stuff, and that's so inappropriate." But she doesn't know how great those farts and burps were for decades. Okay, chapter 14 features legendary Davis educator and principal Judy Davis. Judy, if you could stand. No, you can stand, really, if you can, yeah. Yeah, like you all know Judy Davis. I mean, the whole book could have been about Judy Davis and stuff, you know. Pearls from the Life of Judy Davis. Anyway, whose deep goodness is summed up in these 4 words that she said at my daughter's 6th grade graduation, and that she demonstrated through, her life. Work hard, be kind. Right? That's such a Judy Davis thing, and she embodies that. So thank you, Judy, for being who you are. And like love. No, so the thing was, it was Judy's last year, and all the parents were so excited because we knew she was going to have a really long speech and kind of talk about her whole life and, you know, the wonderful things she had done, but it wasn't about Judy Davis at all. Her speech that day was all about the students, which is what her life is all about, and it was literally, she literally got up and said, "I only have 4 words for you. Work hard, be kind." And then I think she sat down. It's very disappointing, actually. Like, where's the rest of the speech? Okay. Chapter 22, Bending the Curve, is about our family's love affair with UC Davis. And UC Davis is well represented this evening by many of you, including Vice Chancellor Sean Keister and, Jean Xavier and Christina and Hill. I mean, tons of you, and many of us are products of UC Davis and stuff. But in that chapter, I write about a fellow UC Davis trustee, Guy Benstead. And at one point, we're having a trustee meeting. And I think Sean and his team just to be kind to us, they pretend that they're interested in our input about, like how UC Davis could be better. So they, do you have any ideas for slogans for, our next campaign and stuff? So I had one that I thought was excellent, but nobody liked it. But Guy Benstead, who's a UC Davis grad and is a really successful financial guy, his idea was UC Davis, we're changing the trajectory of the human race. And I thought, oh my God, like, that's amazing, right? I mean, the idea that the collective efforts of UC Davis would change the trajectory of the human race. But it's true. I mean, through agriculture and engineering and veterinary medicine, I mean, it's actually true. And I think I conclude that chapter by saying, I don't know if anything I do by myself or in collaboration with others, or anything that you do, it would change the arc of history, but you would hate to get to the end of your life without having tried, right? I mean, isn't it good just to give it a try? And I love how Guy made that aspirational statement. So thank you. We love UC Davis. Okay, chapter 26 highlights the 2013 faculty graduation speech at Davis High School, featuring the amazing Kevin Williams. Kevin, can you stand? Many of you know and love Kevin Williams, okay? I saw Kevin in a public situation, and did I tell you I was going to write about you in a book? No, I just said hi? Okay. So anyway, so a lot of the people I wrote about, I got permission, but if I said something nice about you, I figured I don't have to get permission, right? So anyway, the thing about Kevin is that, the students choose the teacher they like the most. Maybe you're the easiest grader or something like that. I don't know. Kelly, where's my daughter? What? Is it because he's your favorite?
Yeah.
Easy grader, or he actually taught you something? Okay. Yeah, no, it's so funny. No, it's so funny. I was talking to Kelly last week and I said, hey, I'd really like to get in touch with Mr. Williams, but I don't know how to do it. She goes, oh, I've got his number. I said, what? You have his number? How could that be? Anyway, so this is the story. So at Davis High, the graduation is on this artificial turf football field. It's like 108 degrees, but the temperature on the field's like 149, okay? I mean, that's how artificial turf works. And Davis High, it's a college prep school, so Mr. Williams, I figured it's going to be some speech about, Teddy Roosevelt, champion the arena, be like a hedge fund manager or something like that, bring glory and money back to Davis. But I was shocked. He got up there and he said this, and I actually took a picture of him saying it, and then the words were seared in my mind forever. And whenever I give wellness talks, I show a picture of Kevin Williams and I share what he said. He said to the students, he said, my only wish for you is that at some point in your life, you would work with other people for a cause greater than yourself. It just makes me cry. Like, yeah, right? It's like awesome, right? Do you see how it was so easy to write this book? I mean, I just, you people, you touch my life, and then I write these things down, and I just have to write one sentence, and then I can tell, oh, it's just amazing, like how you're such amazing people and stuff. Chapter 32, Leaving Your Mark. It celebrates Pastor Glenn Snyder. Glenn, please stand, right? Glenn was the head pastor at First Baptist for a long time, we like the current staff, but I still miss you, okay? And, Glenn, if you read the chapter, Glenn really helped me to help a colleague who is struggling. In fact, the specific story is, a colleague calls me at 6:30 in the morning, tells me a horrible story. I'm trying to be, supportive. I said, oh, so-and-so, this is really horrible, let me meet you for lunch and whatever, right? So I hang up and I think, oh shit, what am I gonna say at lunch, okay? So I call Glenn, now it's 6:35, okay? So I call Glenn, I said, this is a situation, my friend, I said, Glenn, what should I tell this person when I meet them for lunch? And he said, he goes, by all means, don't tell them that this is God's will, okay? Just listen to them, it's gonna be a horrible story, you just say, that's horrible. Okay, and maybe in 10, 20, 30 years from now, you'll see God's hand in this. So anyway, I meet the guy for lunch. It's a horrible story. I tell him exactly what Glenn told me to tell him. And long story short, things worked out perfectly for this person and his family. And so so then I was wondering, why is Glenn so good at this? And I learned the lesson from the pulpit one Sunday. He talked about when he was a young pastor, his mentor advised him to prepare his congregation for suffering, the point being that they may not be suffering now, but they will suffer, right? So this preparation for suffering is a super important gift we give to one another. So Glenn, thank you. So the title is chapter Making Your Mark, and you've made your mark. This is too good, right? Okay, so chapter 35, it's about Tyler Chuck. Okay, it's my son, you have to read it. Okay, and it's about him breaking away from the thundering herd of individualism and materialism and finding his own path in nonprofit education, working with children who are otherwise forgotten. It's just totally inspirational. I hope you read it, I hope you love it, but just so proud that we produced a child who's actually living out his values, and he sort of found what's important to him. Chapter 44 is about Ricky Winardi. Doctor, where are you, Ricky? I saw you. Oh, Ricky's outside, okay? He loves you, he's vaccinated, but he's being a little cautious, which is fine, okay? But Ricky is our, for the Kaiser and Sacramento, he's the diversity and inclusion champion. And we sent Ricky to an annual diversity conference. And one year he came back and I asked him to sum up the conference. And Ricky said something I've never forgotten. He said, because it turns out that diversity, it's all about finding common ground. And I had never heard that, and I've never forgotten it. And if we could just remember that, we'd be a much happier society, right? So thank you, Ricky, for doing that. Just a couple more. Chapter 48 features Kelly Chuck, my other child. And lessons learned about teamwork playing D1 college lacrosse at UC Davis. And just the intersection of those lessons with the principles of the PDSA process improvement cycle that many organizations make much too complicated, but really it's all just about teamwork. And the story is, when Kelly went to, can I tell the story? She goes to LinkedIn, she's hired in HR with 2 other women with tons of experience, and at the end of the first orientation day, the supervisor asks, let's talk about teamwork, what's teamwork? And Kelly was by far the least qualified person to answer, but she's so enthusiastic. She said, teamwork? I know about teamwork. She goes, teamwork's about everybody's on the same page, everybody on the team contributes, and we get better as a team every day. And that's exactly what the PDSA cycle is about. And so thank you for learning that, sharing that, and letting me write that chapter. Don't worry, if we run late, we'll get your free ice cream. Okay. Okay, chapter 52 features Tracy Kaplan. Tracy, where are you? I think the chapter titled something like, get sassy and think outside the box. But basically, okay, so we go to the grad, the now defunct grad with Tracy, and we order, you have to go to the left and you order and you sit down and stuff. So we sit down and I asked Tracy, oh, what'd you get? And Tracy said, I ordered a veggie burger with bacon. And I'll let you read the rest of the chapter, but like that, we need thinking like that, okay, right? Because just because you're a vegetarian and you appreciate plant-based eating and all of it, doesn't mean you don't like bacon, right? Like, we're so rigid in our thinking, we need executive coaches like Tracy to get us out of those funky, musty boxes. Okay. Chapter 57 highlights, oh, Bob's not here, so I'm not going to talk about him. Forget you, Bob. Okay. Chapter 62 celebrates an unnamed homegrown hero, somebody who actually was born and raised here in Davis, who currently serves as a Navy jet fighter pilot, sort of risking his life for all of our safety. And in the midst of the COVID outbreak, my colleagues and I were scared, actually, and we needed some words of wisdom and really courage to sort of face this biggest challenge of our lives. So I reached out to this young man and I said, you're a jet fighter pilot. Like, is there any messages or words of encouragement that you can give to me that I could share with my colleagues? And you have to read the chapter, but it was just amazing. This young man who puts his life on the line for all of us to be free, and any mission he goes out on, he might not come back from. Great insights about courage and how to be courageous in the face of danger, right? So courage is not the absence of fear, but it's harnessing that fear and performing at your best when things aren't going well. And then all of part 6, Dr. Stuff, goes into the great detail about the inevitable deterioration of our bodies and brains and the urgency to live on purpose every day, fully present to enjoy and savor every sunrise, every relationship, every hug, and every sandwich. Okay, home stretch on the thanks. I'm going to say this, it's really important. If the book reads well, I think it reads pretty well, but it's only because I had an army of reviewers. Oh, if you had seen the first draft of the cover, I swear, I think one of the first titles was Personal to Practice Life, a little black book about how something, and I thought that was really good, and then I realized, oh, that's really horrible, because people know that's horrible. Okay. Okay, so a lot of edits. Bob Emmons, John Lesquaw, Rich Isaacs, Don Clark, Kimi Ouchi, Christian Olsen read the book, provided endorsements. Many of you who I wrote about, you edited your chapters, made them much better. Chris Jensen. So Chris Jensen is a scientific writer for Kaiser Permanente's Department of Research. He writes grants that win $5 million, and then he writes articles in the New England Journal of Medicine and JAMA. Like, the guy's a superstar scientific writer, and so he really tightened up and rearranged the manuscript just like he's done for every family member's college, graduate school, and job application. So thank you, Chris. Former Princeton English instructor, Matt Nightingale. Matt, where are you? Okay, lovely. Okay, so Matt, I love you. Here he taught, students, one of the greatest universities in America. But he was very kind to me. He applauded the few things that were good, and then he gently advised me about glaring errors such as confusing mixed metaphors. I didn't even know what that was, but he fixed it and stuff. So thank you very much. I mean, because between you and Chris, I knew I was good, right? Okay, so I want Bruce Galladay, who is in Tennessee today with Doug and Liz Malinoff. Don't you miss Doug and Liz Malinoff at University Honda? Anyway, so. That's another chapter. But anyway, so Bruce reads it, and Bruce says, "Oh yeah, like it's okay." But he goes, "Your paragraphs are super long and blocky. Let me coach you on how to make a paragraph." So he said it, and then it made so much sense. Literally, I just sat down with the 48,000 word manuscript, and it only took me an hour and a half, and I broke it down to the short paragraphs you see now. So if you like it, it's because of Bruce. Like, I did not know that. Okay. And then Doug Kelly, who couldn't be here this evening. Doug is John Lesqua's proofreader and is writer for the Davis Enterprise. And my wife, Leslie Chuck, they teamed up to find lots of errors of all types that would have really tripped you up in your reading. You would have thought, this guy doesn't know what he's doing, and left me feeling embarrassed. So anyway, thank you to you. And last words, family. Those of you involved with Serotonin Search Charities, if you've been involved with Serotonin Search Charities, can you just raise your hand? Like, all of you, right? Thank you so much. You're a big part of my life. Everybody from the First Baptist Church in Davis, raise your hands. And my homies, home group guys, every Tuesday night, love you guys. We drink scotch and wine in our home group. This is like a totally heretic, horrible thing, but I think we love God and love people. I think we're okay. Everybody affiliated with Davis High School, Mr. Williams, everybody in the Davis school system, my lovely neighbors on our little cul-de-sac, thank you for being so kind to me. All my colleagues from the Permanente Medical Group, raise your hands. Past and present, UC Davis, poker guys, golf, all of you. I just want to end by saying thank you so much for being a big part of my life and being a big part of this book. And thank you for being here this evening. This is now my retirement party and stuff. And I hope you enjoy the read. I'd love your feedback. Have a good time. We have the place till 8:30 or 9. And please drink all the alcohol because Leslie and I don't drink. Okay, thank you.